Hey everyone! So you may be thinking, what is a Munny Doll? A Munny Doll is a small vinyl figurine that is sold as like a blank doll. And the point behind it is that you can customize the doll that you get however you want. You can cut it up, add things to it, put stuff on it, whatever you like. So the Munny Doll's standard size is a 4-inch figure, which is $15 US, which is about the same size as a pop vinyl. You may be familiar with them, but they also sell small ones and also huge ones. What we're going to do as our modeling project together is that we're going to make the base shape for a blank Munny Doll. And then the idea behind it is that afterwards you can then go in and add your own flair, add your own stuff to it. We'll go through how to add colors to your character with texture painting, and we'll also add some bones into our character so that they can be animated and used in your next project with the next tutor. Hopefully that sounds like fun. Let's get started. Okay, to start off, we're just going to select everything in our scene and delete it. We don't need it. And then we're going to go and import our reference images that we've downloaded from the teams. So go add, image, reference, find your reference image. Let's choose the front, F, and import it. Now we can see that this is imported sideways, which we don't actually want, so let's delete it. Press 1 on your number pad to go to the front camera view and then import again. So add, image, reference, and our front image. Press 3 on your number pad to go to the side view and again add, image, reference, but this time choose the side one. And there we go. Our images are a bit low, so we're going to grab them both with A, G, Z for up, and just place him so he's standing on the line there. And then, great, he's in place. So now we're going to start adding some geometry to make our head, but I first want to show you what we don't want to do. I'm going to add in a UV sphere, which is just a circle, and you may think this is the obvious thing to use to make a head, and it does seem like the obvious thing, so you're not wrong, but it does have a huge flaw, which is at the point at the top of the sphere, everything like comes into one little point there. So if we quickly add a subdivision surface modifier, just so we can see this a bit easier, and we also turn on this cavity shading, just to make it extra obvious, you can see these kind of wrinkles in the top of it. This will make it really hard to edit, so let's not use those. To get started, let's go up to Add Mesh Cube and move it up with G and Z and scale it to make it a bit bigger with S. Now it doesn't have to be perfect at this point, we will edit it again later. Come to the modifier tab, which is the blue wrench, click Add Modifier and search SUB and click Subdivision Surface. This will turn our cube into a sphere. We want to put 2 into this Levels Viewport option, which is plenty for us to start editing. You want to keep it lower at the start and then you can increase it later, so please don't go over 2 for now. So what we want to do is right click on our mesh and choose Shade Smooth. This will make our mesh nice and smooth. So my sphere is a little small, so I'm going to scale it with S, and then I'm just going to go to the modifier, click the little drop down and hit apply. We'll make it so that we have enough vertices in edit mode to edit our character and do what we want with him. Speaking of edit mode, let's just jump in at the top left, change it to edit mode. Now I'm going to bore you with some settings really quick. If we box select our vertices on the front of our circle, you'll notice it doesn't select the back. So we want to come up here and turn on X-ray mode. Now when we select the front, it'll select the back and all of it. Hooray! Next, we want to turn on soft selection. So soft selection will make it so that it moves more than just what you have selected, and you can increase and decrease it with the scroll wheel. Next up is X Mirror. X Mirror will allow you to edit both sides of your character at once instead of just one at a time, so it'll save you tons of time. Just hitting fast forward really quick because I start editing the character and I don't realize that my reference picture is actually not in the center of the character. So we just need to come in and click on our character image and just move it with G and X and just put it kind of in the middle. These images aren't symmetrical in the first place, so they're never going to be perfect, but it will make it a bit easier for you if you do get it as close as possible to the middle. So at this point, all I'm doing to edit the head is just selecting a bunch of vertices and then just moving them so that they kind of line up with the image in the background. So I'm just gonna do a bit of the nose on our character now. And to select the vertices at the front but not at the back, to make it easier, I'm just gonna move the camera a little so I can easily select the front and not the back. And what I want to do is line these vertices and edges up with the nose area of our reference image. You don't have to be perfect, but just kind of getting it kind of lined up with our reference is what we're looking for. Next up, I'm going to press 3 on my number pad to go to the side view, and I'm going to again line up my vertices with this side profile. You can see me here adjusting the size of my self-selection by using the scroll wheel, and you can see that that circle around my mouse gets bigger and smaller. I use this just to have a little bit more control over what I'm clicking on and what I'm moving around. And here I'm just trying to make sure that everything looks as straight and as smooth as possible. Done with that, I'm going to switch back to front view with 1 on the number pad, and I'm going to go, oh my gosh, my face is a lot longer in the front view than it is on the side view. And that's just because our reference images aren't quite the same, but that's okay, we can work with that. I think the front image is a bit better, so I pull the face down to make it a bit longer and then check the side again. I'm going to come up into my outliner in the top right and just hide my reference images temporarily with these 2 little eyeballs. Now I'm going to turn X-ray off real quick just so I can check the kind of shape of my head without being distracted by the image in the background. Next up, I'm just going to start adjusting my mesh just how I think it should be. I want to push out my mouth shape a little bit more and just adjust a couple of little things. Now when I get to this point, I see that I've got some pointy kind of things that I want to smooth out. And good for us, we have a smooth tool. If you click on it on your left-hand side and drag this yellow gizmo that shows up, it will smooth whatever you have selected. If you're going to use this, I recommend going 1 vertice at a time. And if we've got X mirror on, it will do both sides at once. It's a great way to smooth out your character if there's like sharp pieces going on. Cool, so now we're going to jump back into the modifier tab and add another subdivision surface. This time I'll just leave it on 1 level in the viewport and pop back into edit mode and turn our reference images back on, turn X-ray back on, and just do one more pass through and tweaking of my character's shape, lining it up with my reference images and making sure that it looks exactly how I want it to look. I ended up favoring the side view a little bit more than the front view, but I think I got it pretty close and it looks quite nice. Okay, and now let's move on to the ears. We're going to add a cube. I'm just going to move it up and over, and I'm going to press Ctrl 2. Now all this does is add a subdivision modifier, the same way as if I just clicked the add modifier button and typed it in. Next I'm going to come around to the side here and just scale my shape on the y-axis or the green axis just to make it a lot skinnier. I'm then going to pop into edit mode and I'm going to scale it to make it a little bit smaller since it's a bit too big, and then I'm just going to go and edit our vertices like I normally would. And see here, I'm moving them around and I'm noticing that I don't have X-ray mode on, so just double check that your X-ray mode is on. And then we should be able to move these shapes around just to match that shape of the ear this time. So here I'm just going to jump into side view with 3 on the number pad, and I'm going to select all of my vertices with the box selection or by pressing A and just move it backwards. The ears on these characters sit quite far back. I'm then going to grab the loop cut tool and add one single loop in the middle there, just so I can make a nice little bend in the ear shape. Next, I'm going to press Ctrl 1 on the number pad to snap to the back view as opposed to the front, and just shape it this way. It'll be harder to see our object from the front now because it is behind our reference image. So that's why we just quickly snap to the back. Alright, now that this is looking pretty much done, I'm just going to hop back into object mode, right click on my ear and choose Shade Smooth like we did earlier. And now I'm just going to quickly hide my front reference by clicking on it and then clicking on the little eyeball in the outliner on the right hand side. Next we're going to add a new modifier. This time we're going to add a mirror modifier. Choose the eyedropper and pick the head, and then we should have an ear on either side of our head, just like that. So congratulations, you're pretty much done with the base shape of your head now, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to finish it up and just join them together so they're one object instead of two. So I'm going to come up and click on this little drop down arrow on each modifier and hit apply. I'm then going to click on our ears, shift click the head and press Ctrl J for join so that our head becomes one object. I'll press F2 to rename it and name it head. And you're done! If you've got extra time, feel free to customize. Add some different ears, add some eyeballs, add a cone hat. World's your oyster.